Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're going to be continuing our DLC discussion series with the Wood Elves. I know it's slightly out of order, but bear with me here. Wood Elves, of course, were released after the Beastmen, and they didn't have the same issues with the Beastmen on release. From what I can remember, Wood Elves, some people hate them just because some people tend to play them super kitey, and obviously some people don't like that, which I totally get. You can definitely play Wood Elves a number of different ways, though, especially with some of the recent buffs and patches. Over the successive, months and years, they have got quite a few buffs and patches and sort of mild changes here and there. A lot of units had magic damage on their ammunition, and now they don't, and now some of them got it back, and yeah, anyway. The Wood Elves, just because of their playstyle, a lot of people have hated them. Some people love them. I like playing them a certain type of way. I'm not a huge fan of the kitey playstyle with the Wood Elves, but you can definitely play some more fun, like rush builds, more standard, range type builds, some fun like Death Star style play. Can do some different things for sure, but in this build, we've got a front line of Eternal Guard. We've got couple of War Dancers, as well as a Treekin in the center, Durthu and the Tree Men here making their way up through the forest, and of course the mobile squad, 2 Glade Riders and the Sisters, a couple cold ones, Saurus Spears, Regiment of Renowned Saurus Spears, and this line of Skinks that is about to get absolutely eaten alive by War Dancers. The War Dancers took a volley on the way in, but they're going to do quite well here. Durthu and his buddy rolling up the flank as well. We've also got a Branch Wraith for some healing. They're going to come in and get on Mazdamundi here, who's leading the Lizardmen, of course. Also got a couple of Chameleon Skinks over on the side, as well as an Ancient Salamander. This unit of Eternal Guards is going to hang around and take blow darts to the face and help protect these these Hagbane tips as they go after that Ancient Salamander there. The main focus of the fight is going to be sort of over on this side, where I've got some Cav maneuvering around. Cold One Riders did catch one of the units of Glade Riders, but you can see the Sisters of Thorn do quite a bit of armor-piercing damage, and can actually do some pretty good damage there. Mazdamundi having to run away from the angry trees as Durthu and the Tree Men are just pounding it out here. You can see the Regiment of Renowned Saurus fighting. Going to throw down a Flock of Doom here to help drain away some of their HP, to help drain away some of those skink cohorts as well. Just all across the line, the skinks obviously did not hold up super well, but meanwhile over here, Ancient Salamander did just choose to charge into combat with the Hagbane tips. The Eternal Guard are then going to come in and get some good damage done. The Ancient Salamander, pretty good, but honestly, for a big monster, doesn't have the most HP in the world, and the relatively low melee defense and such means that, it is going to take some damage here. It looks like it shot that Eternal Guard in the back, but, yeah, not going to be super impactful, being that it's away from the targets that it needs to go after, which is the trees. You can see Pop Hopok's cohort charging in here, the Regiment of Renowned Cold One Spear Riders. We're going to go ahead and pin them up against the trees with the Sisters of Thorn and the Glade Riders here. They've all got the Shield of Thorns from said Sisters. Looks like the Glade Riders, going to get countercharged by the Cold One Riders, but then the Sisters are actually still just hanging around. Some healing from the Branch Wraith. Going to keep going on Durthu, and Mazdamundi healing himself with Apotheosis. He can keep up that trickle of healing on himself to keep himself out of the danger zone, but already things are not looking great for the Lizardmen, as these 2 units of Saurus were able to get a good countercharge with these War Dancers here, who had been freed up from fighting the Skinks. They got in here and are just absolutely cutting these guys to ribbons, especially with the melee attack buff from the Branch Wraith, who's just sitting in the middle here. Up to 49 melee attack on those War Dancers, plus their bonus versus infantry, which does apply to melee attack, on applicable targets, which of course Saurus are applicable targets. And yeah, it's going to be just a brutal amount of melee attack. They're going to be connecting on basically every hit there. And Saurus don't have the most armor in the world. Meanwhile, over here, Mazdamundi again, sort of getting pinned in by the Sisters here. We've got the Treekin over here as well now. Yeah. Banishment going down on those Glade Riders is going to do a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be the most impactful. You can see the Ancient Salamander actually got routed off The spears were gone, but Glade Guard managed to hang around with their Hagbane tips. Pretty impressive there, honestly, that they're still, still hanging around. We're gonna use the Lamentation of Despair to just blow through this a little bit. But at this point, the Lizards are getting pretty close to critical army losses as, yeah, their units just getting routed all across the field. Those War Dancers racked up a ton of kills here, and Durthu and the Treemen both pretty much completely healthy. And yeah, I mean, like I said, Wood Elves, I personally like playing them a little bit more like this, a little bit more aggressive in melee. Certainly that works better now that the tree, Durthu for forever, pretty much, since they were released, has been one of the best combat characters in the game. Just an absolute world beater, true champion. The other tree men haven't been as good up until now. I'm really glad with one of the recent buffs they got, where they got primarily armor piercing damage, makes them a lot better. In terms of the breakdown of the battle here, though, Durthu racking up 83 kills, 120 and 85 for the War Dancers, both of them, very glad I brought them. 74 on some Eternal Guard, not bad, going after some Skinks. 40 on the regular tree men, and yeah, 30 for the Sisters of Thorn as well, primarily against enemy heavy cavalry, which is not bad at all. For my opponent, yeah, I sort of see what he was going for there. Personally, I'd probably cut Mazdamundi from the Stegadon and just bring a smaller, cheaper hero, or lord rather, lord level caster, maybe like a Tehenuin on a mount, on like a, what is it? I think he has a horned one. Let's check real quick. Let's see here. Lizardmen. Yeah, so you could do like the Red Crested Skink Chief on a horned one. You could do Tehenuin also on a horned one. That would be a pretty good option. Tehenuin would give you a caster and lord in one with Lore of Beasts. It's, going to give you some Manticore summons potentially. You can get stuff like Pan's Pelt. It's pretty good in this matchup for buffing up your Cav. But anyway, we're focusing on the Wood Elves for this video, so let's get back to them. Yeah, just sort of the history of the Wood Elves. Like I said, some units have been overtuned at times. I'm looking at you, Way Watchers, but yeah, certainly right now you can play them a number of different ways, and I definitely think they're very fun. And granted, this is everything I've said has been for multiplayer so far. There are definitely some builds that make me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit, but I tend not to play them that way. Other people do play them that way, so if you feel the need to play that way, then you should probably pick up the Wood Elves. If you like playing just mobile, fast attack, hit and run factions that can play super aggressive, or can play more hit and run, then definitely pick up the Wood Elves. As for their campaign, it's in a weird place right now. Their campaign, it feels really awkward because of the way that they occupy settlements. They don't actually occupy settlements, and now that everyone's capital has 1 million building slots, their capitals don't feel that special. Anyway, I'm hoping they address the Wood Elves campaign at some point in the future with a future update. But as it is right now, the Wood Elves for multiplayer, if you're a high level multiplayer player and you want a faction that's very good but pretty challenging to play, you need to have a pretty good amount of micro and knowledge to be able to play the Wood Elves effectively. I definitely recommend picking them up. If you want to play them primarily just for campaign, I mean, it's weird. You can try it if you want. I don't know that I would necessarily recommend them for campaign right now, just because the campaign is kind of sort of clunky and awkward for the new, Mortal Empire system. But purely from a multiplayer standpoint, especially if you're a higher level player, I would definitely recommend picking up the Wood Elves. Certainly a lot of fun to play if you play them a certain way. Whatever your preferred play style is. Just be aware that a lot of people are going to hate you simply because you're playing the Wood Elves. Even if you do play more aggressively, you're still probably going to face some nasty builds just because people don't like the Wood Elves, which, that's fine with them as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. going to be continuing on this series. I think we're going to take a little bit of a break in between the Game 1 factions and the Game 2 factions, but it has been certainly an interesting discussion. I've had a lot of really good comments so far, so keep up the discussion in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.